we got going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's we do a lot off the top. I mean, like, I know you pretty well, so like I said, it's just a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
And then Eli, you gotta speak up too, because I can.
you can barely hear me, huh?
Or just on this side, just on this side.
Could also be because you have a bass DJ right
I
next
think
to
that's
your
what
body.
it is. I think that might be contributing.
So, are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? Do you want to hold this? Do you want to keep
I'm
it there?
so ready. Just keep it there.
If you want to
Fine.
reach over and grab
I'll
it,
just
can
tap
pass
you.
it on this.
Yeah,
There
you can be my extension.
you go. You're right after a set right now, so you know.
Yes, I love
you
that.
need to hydrate.
Sipping
You know,
on
Hydrate with CBD.
You get a little CBD hydration from Steep Station. Where are we at? So we're at Steep Station right now?
Yes, this is Steep Station Kava Bar
Hell yeah.
in St. Pete.
This is actually my first time being here.
I'm
It's
so
like a
glad you
forest.
guys came.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I
how
come
long
here
have you-
every single Tuesday.
Wow, that's such, and it's so cool. Like I see why. I mean, it's a nice spot, nice
I could
cozy
get lost in
couches.
here.
Like, what'd you say?
I could get lost in here.
Yeah, it's like Wonderland out
For
here,
sure.
bro. Alice in Wonderland. Well, all right, we're ready to start.
Let's do it.
Start. Episode 16 of the
Wow.
Final Mix
Yeah.
with none other than Sookie Grier,
Hi.
DJ Sook G. How are you feeling?
I am feeling fantastic. I just played a little open decks here at Steep Station.
Heck yeah.
Hell
and then
yeah.
you said they do that every Tuesday?
So every Tuesday, the Stamp Collective, Ricky, aka Pretty Ricky, he's kind of in charge.
Pretty Ricky.
Everybody in Stamp has a part, but he leads this wonderful night of flow arts and then open decks outside from 7 to 11. And then inside, he has curated DJs that he's asked to perform for the night. So I love it. I'm here every Tuesday, whether I'm just chilling with my friends or networking or DJing. Like, it's all been really fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. Like, the music inside and outside is similar but different. I've heard bass, I've heard house, I've heard drum and bass.
Yeah, we're very multi-genre here.
A variety, a good variety,
I love
instead
that.
of the same old shit.
That's exactly what we vibe with. So, Sookie, I know we got some stuff coming up. We've already put on some stuff in the past. You know, we've collaborated on a couple events at this point.
Yes, congratulations, by the way. I would say those shows were very successful.
I'd say so too. You know,
Yeah,
patting
yeah, yeah.
ourselves on the back a little bit. But,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I mean, for collaborating for the first time, really at TK. That was my first TK show, and you kind of carried me on your back a little bit. But just the connections you have into TK and the opportunities that you've had doing Sundays in the past. You know, we did the Industry Sunday, and you know, we'll see. Maybe there's some more Industry Sunday action going on in the future.
There definitely will be some more coming from all of us.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
I look forward to that.
Oh yeah, I look forward to that too. But we have one in particular show coming
Yes.
up on December 22nd, right?
Huh? What's that?
Yes.
What's that? Oh, Jingle Bass.
Yes, Jingle Bass.
Just have like sleigh bells.
You guys actually chose our headliner, All Whack.
Yes, all whack, dude. My buddy Chris, he and I go back a long time. Back to Gainesville. He was the very first DJ that I ever met when I went to Gainesville in 2017, my freshman year of college. And he was a bass DJ, and he like opened my eyes to like experimental bass, progressive bass, like all kinds of like really deep wubs and like very like shit that's like off tempo and like, you know, just weird sounds, like construction noises, like a little bit of rhythm, like really soft rhythm. So yeah, it was very interesting to kind of dip my toes into that scene. He got me involved on the college side and like in the streets kind of. So this is kind of a full circle moment for me to be able to provide him an opportunity to play at TK Lounge with your help, of course.
Yes.
And we got a bunch of other great artists playing. We got Jer Bear from
Yes.
our
Jer Bear.
contest winner.
Yeah.
We
We know
just
him.
had him, and we're posting his podcast episode tomorrow, which is going to be a week from when this is posted.
I love
Yeah,
that.
A week before.
Yeah,
when
he's
it's supposed to
definitely
be.
a good personality, a great DJ,
Oh yeah.
good
Super
person.
nice guy.
He
Super
was
nice
great,
guy.
bro. I mean, we
He's so
sat-
humble, I know. He's very good looking too. Like,
That's what I
Well,
thought.
he's
I saw him. I
a
started
dreamy-
drooling.
He's a
Dreamy,
doctor. I mean, he's a. I don't know if he's an
dreamy
eligible
man.
bachelor, but he should be on the show. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And then the whole doctor thing. I'm like,
yeah, but the
bro,
DJ, doctor,
good looks.
good
I'm like,
looks, like.
God, I felt like a piece of shit. I was like, this guy's got the full package.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was great too because
charm.
we don't have a studio right now, right? That's why we're staying here. That's why we don't have like a set to shoot this podcast, and so we're trying to find new places for every episode. And he I was asking him, like, where's the place, like, if you thought of a lounge or a brewery, like, where do you want to go shoot your episode? He said Magnanimous Brewing. And I'm like, where the hell is that?
And it
He
was
had
nice.
a good answer
He
right
did,
away.
yeah. I was like, Magnanimous? We got to go there. And, it
And
was
we
fire.
walk in, and it was such a like cool little spot, bro. It was, I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It was dope. It was super dope. Definitely go there if you are in Tampa.
Oh, yeah. But so we're here at Steep Station with Sookie. And Sookie, I kind of want to know how you got started. Like, where are you from? What,
Okay.
You know, like,
I kind of knew this
what
was
happened?
coming, so let me see if I can shorten it in my,
Yeah, I just kind of
make
went,
sense
I
of
went
it in my
all the way with that
ADHD
question.
brain.
But
All right, so I would say I've been a fan of EDM before it was called EDM. I started listening to Happy Hardcore, Diesel Boy, DJ Irene, Baby, Jen Lasher, Baby Ann, Bad Boy Bill, in like the late 90s and 2000s. And then I really loved pop music too. So I feel like pop music incorporates a lot of electronic sounds when we think about Black Eyed Peas or Kesha or Lady Gaga. And I just kind of carried that love for music with me. I also played the violin for like 8 years when I was younger. So I still kind of have that classically trained like music in me. Oh, it's a cute little doggy. They allow pets here also, so it's always just like a fun zone for everyone at Steep Station. Okay, so then I just like fast forward, took my love of music, and when I was in the Army for like 9 years.
wow.
What?
I was a combat photographer.
Combat
That is-
photographer? Wait, that is?
It's a.
I always wondered what your position was. I knew
So
you were
the
in the Army,
the fancy name for it is Combat Documentation Production Specialist, but it's very fancy. It just means photojournalist, video journalist. So I did that for 9 years.
Thank you
and
for your
then-
service.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
badass, dude.
I carried the photography with me. Like I loved it.
Wow.
So I moved to Florida because that's where my parents ended up retiring. And when I lived with them, I got my degree at USF Tampa in mass communications and public relations.
Oh.
And then COVID happened, and the job market was just a little crazy. So,
yeah.
I was just doing like photography jobs here and there, but I was finding, especially in Tampa, where I love to attend lots of EDM events.
Right.
Starting at the Ritz, where I met Lizzie Jane in like 2015, before she was even big right now. Like
Right.
she was just standing with me in the front room, and I just thought she was like a pretty girl that seemed really cool. And I was like, well, what's going on here? And she's like, oh, this is the Ritz. Like, I'm going to audio school right now, and I really hope to be like a resident DJ here. And then, come like less than a year later, I would say, she was playing there.
Wow.
And now, look where she
Spoke
is.
that
So
into existence.
that kind of like started my love for like the scene in Florida, was
Right.
just going to Ybor like every weekend and running around and going to different clubs. But then when we came to like 2022, that towards the end, almost the anniversary of when I met this young woman named Abby, I went to a club in Ybor, which is now called PYT, I think, or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was dancing, and I had some friends on the stage, MNX, Ketone, people that you guys have heard and know of as
yeah.
well.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And this girl was dancing around me named Abby, and she saw me get on stage, and she just thought it was like the coolest thing. And I was like, do you just want to come up with me? These are my friends. So she got on stage with me, and she just was like, I would love to figure out how we can do this for a living. And so she was going to school, full time for nursing. She already had an overnight job. So it kind of like faded away with Abby, but I definitely kept the idea of Sonder Bluehouse alive.
Right.
She came up with the name Sonder, which basically means like everybody's in their own little personal world, but they come together for one reason sometimes, and in this case it's music, right? And then the Blue House was as simple as like blue was like our favorite color, and then house was just like, we love house music.
Right.
That was like the foundation. And then also we started throwing house parties. Like Sonder Blue House started with house parties in a blue house in Tampa.
That's sick.
So
That's sick.
and we had like these sick parties at this house for like after hours.
Yeah.
And we had people like GC and Gabby Rose and like
Wow.
you know like people now that in this scene are they're big. Okay,
Yeah.
they've really
Grown
grown their
up.
careers. So we started throwing house parties, and then I did one pop-up in the Curtis Hickson Amphitheater down by the Riverwalk and University of
amphitheater,
Tampa.
yes,
Yeah,
I love
it's a
that.
great place. But we got shut down early by the cops. So I took the DJs that were doing that show to the TK Lounge for open decks. And again, like a lot of the DJs for that show were playing house music. One of the managers approached me and was like, "Hey, we kind of like love that this is a very refreshing like house music night. Like, are you in charge of these guys? Like, what's going on?" And I told them we just got shut down, and they kind of like offered me an opportunity to throw a house show there.
Okay.
So I went from like promoting and supporting my friends like MNX and Ketone at the time and other people locally
right.
to like now I'm going to be promoting for my own shows. So I just like dove into this community. I found out, what's up with what are the trends? How do you guys do things? Tell me about this equipment, everything and anything that I could learn about this industry. And I just started going with it. I had never been an event coordinator or event manager before, but we went straight from house parties to the TK Lounge. And then later down the road, I think it's September of 2023, just last year, I threw my first party at the warehouse in St. Pete with the owner, Lance Hallmark. So the connections that I make have been so important because it's just an ongoing business. It's not like a 9 to 5 where you can clock in and clock out. It's like a constant effort to keep in touch, to keep people engaged. But then the bonus part of all of this is that you get to meet friends like for a lifetime, and not only friends that are in this community, but who are so good at promoting, DJing, music in general, whatever they're like. Everyone here has had a big part in where I am right now, and I can't believe like this year has gone so fast.
Oh yeah, 2024.
It's been
the fastest year of my
so
life.
chaotic, and maybe that's why it's faster. But I just feel like if I'm even looking at last year and how far I've come from just throwing house parties with my friends to now I'm throwing monthly events. Like I'm doing monthly events, and on top of that, I've been able to take photos, and I take photos of people in this community. I do couples, I do engagements and weddings, everything. It's all people. But I feel like I'm being more seen as an artist and a person because I'm getting to do these things that are so from a creative part of my soul.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just like so blessed to be able to have what I have with like my relationships with my friends, and I can't wait to see like where we go within another year. Like if we've already come this far, you guys too, like would you have imagined yourselves 5 years ago doing what you're doing right now?
No, not the podcast, especially
Not the
the
podcast.
podcast. No.
Yeah.
I will say not the podcast.
Yeah,
Not
I
the
mean,
podcast.
The rest of this
kinda-
shit, I was hoping yes, this is where I want to be for sure.
Yeah, they just
We
kinda
had a
bite
vision
you.
and we went for it. But the
Right.
podcast, dude, I did not see us being 16 episodes deep doing,
Right?
a
that's
podcast
amazing.
and Steve
Like,
Station.
Clap for
Yes.
that.
Hell yeah. Well, you touched on a few things there that I kind of want to go back to.
Yeah.
So Sonder Blue House, you've had a lot of success with that brand.
Yes.
I know you have a lot of stuff in the vault, kind of. You have a lot of things in store waiting to kind of come to fruition, right? And like
Yes.
we're kind of in the same boat. And so that was why, you and I got on some phone calls early on, like a year ago. before your birthday, before like you really started doing these TK shows the way that you're doing them now.
Yeah.
And you told me like you had all this stuff lined up. You had stuff for Miami Music Week. You had stuff for
Yeah.
this. And then you were doing them. You were down there. You were doing them. And then you were here. And that's what I always really respected about you is that when you said you were going to do something, you did it. You saw it through. And and we know how it is with promoting and with events. Like sometimes you have a vision that you want one thing to go one way, or you want to promote it a certain way, and then it doesn't really come together the way you want it to. And I saw you go through those similar struggles that we went through as well. So like I respect you for keeping your head held high and maintaining those connections and really forming your own lane in the scene, because that's what you have to do as a promoter, is form your own lane.
Thank you.
And killing it at TK on Sundays, like it's kind of an off day. Like a lot of people wouldn't take that challenge.
I'm not doing these things alone. Obviously, like I have help from my friends.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That last show that I did near Thanksgiving was on a Sunday, and I would say like I've done a few Sunday shows there. That was the busiest Sunday, consistent Sunday I've ever seen there. So I'm just like loving what's happening in this community, and there are a lot of bass promoters coming into this scene right now from other states and other places that have just kind of like crept up. And my best go-to for meeting anyone new is not looking at them like competition, but talking to them like, how can we work together? Or how do you do things so how do I do things so we can kind of come together? And whether or not that 100% works out all the time, at least you kind of hold that connection, and then you can support them in the ways that they want to feel supported, and vice versa. And that's really all it is about making authentic connections with other people who want the same thing.
Absolutely. And the other thing I kind of want to touch on was you mentioned life before you identified as an artist, right? Before you were like a promoter or a technician or a camera woman or whatever you were really identifying it with at the time. And I kind of relate to that, because when I was in Gainesville, and a lot of times I was trying to show myself as an artist, but in the field I was really a technician or I was a promoter. People didn't really see me as a DJ or as an artist. So kind of talk about maybe that transition or trying to live that double life of a promoter as well as a DJ. And then you also always have a camera around your neck. You're always sitting behind the tech booth at TK, how do you manage to do all that?
I think that the photography is always going to be and feel comfortable to me because I've been doing it for 18 years now.
Yeah, wow.
So if you can take something that you have mastered maybe your entire life or work towards that you know that you can do, that's always like a solid thing for me, is that I can always have my camera and in those moments take those photos if I want them, and I know how to execute. And then the second part of managing like this lifestyle is not giving a shit about the outcome, right? And not having like expectations, because everyone is so different, and you're dealing with mostly people who have day jobs, and that their art, the part of them that is personal and vulnerable and artistic is the music. So whether they're a DJ or a promoter, that's not their full-time job. They choose to do it because they're an artist. And coming from that perspective, you understand that people are going to be sensitive to different things that you might not understand. So you have to come from a very direct and communicative and kind approach when you're networking. Yeah. So I think whenever I started like understanding that I wanted to be involved somehow, but I didn't know how, but I knew that I had to start with promoting, I made sure that I was following up with the people whose shows that I attended and that I talked to who were in these industries with music. I made sure that I didn't just show up once, but that after the show I would say, hey man, I really liked A, B, and C about this, which I did, I'm not lying. And then made that connection and just understood more where they're coming from an artist perspective, because I think we forget that even though we're technicians and it says we're like, you know, these other people, promoters, that we're really artists. That it all comes down to the artistry.
When it comes down to like DJing versus like photography for you, do you have one that you prefer, like that you like doing more, you feel more passionate about, or do you think they're kind of equal, just like different sides of the coin?
I think that photography is just something that I will always do no matter what. And I think DJing was like your guys' podcast, a very pleasant surprise. I wasn't planning on being a DJ at all. But once I did it, I was like, there's no reason why I'm surrounded by talented people all the time. I might as well ask them for a little support and, oh, can you show me this? Can you show me that? And so I like the learning aspect of things. And what I found is that I will always love photography. It will always be up here. But the DJing is more sporadic. So I might have like a better DJing experience here than here. But each time I feel like it's equal. I feel like it's equal. Because I really do love the process of curating a set and, you know, scrubbing my tracks and making sure there's like cue points, and it's so technical down to like me, you know, it feels individual, it feels artistic in that way. And then being able to play and then have at least one person like respond or become like a Sook G fan, like I love that, because that means I'm doing something right. Like that means I'm making a difference in someone's life through my art, and that's like, you can't ask for anything better.
No better feeling than when you have like someone who appreciates or likes what you're taking a chance on.
Yeah,
it's such a good feeling. It's
such a good feeling to have one person say like, hey, that was really cool, like I loved your set, when can I see you again? Like, and I don't think I even realized how much I liked that affirmation until someone said that. So like I did enjoy the DJing, but until someone like my first like fan came up to me and was like, that was spectacular, where can I see you next? I didn't really understand, like, okay, this is why people do it.
Yeah.
Like this is what they feel from it. Right. Because it's a way to still be an introverted person and an individual person, but it's also a way to share that art with the rest of the world.
Oh yeah.
So you can't really like, and that's how I feel about photography too, is like every camera, every person is different. They see through the lens differently. So, you know, it's an art.
Yeah.
I'm just passionate about the art careers, the artistic side of it.
You gotta be. You in this, you have to be like, not necessarily obsessed with it, but a part of you has to like crave it.
Yes.
Like you have to crave it.
Yeah, you have to like live, breathe, eat shit EDM.
Yeah.
Like nonstop.
Yep. You just do.
Or DJing or photography, whatever, like whatever you.
Well, you gotta put in 10,000 hours. Is that what this is?
Yeah. 10,000.
Yeah, and you have to. That's another thing too, is like the outlook on the whole I'm doing this for money thing. Like, yeah, that would be nice, but you have to look at like your time equity. It matters. Like what you're doing in your time, it's not wasted just because you're not earning big bucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, that's like a big goal, right? We would all love to quit our 9-to-5s and just do music. But until then, it's still a way to kind of like release, to get away, to be yourself, to feel yourself. Like, there's nothing better than something you can latch onto like that you can say that you love 24/7.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how I feel about DJing and photography.
Wow. Good. I'm happy that everyone should have that feeling. Everyone should have that thing that they love, or like that drive of like passion about something, whatever it is, 100%.
It's very scary, but just do it, you know? Just do the thing that you've been thinking about, or quit your job. Like, I'm being so serious, because you won't know, you really won't know what you're capable of until you try it. And I guarantee you're always in a survivability mindset. Like we're always trying to eat, live, breathe, like exist, right?
Yeah.
But to be seen and survive, that's like something that, money can't buy.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
You gotta have a hunger for it. That's why my passion has turned into a bit of a madness.
Yeah.
So recently, the last fucking few months, been going to a lot of festivals, doing a lot of crazy shit, not sleeping a lot of hours.
Yeah.
I went to the Keys, and my last night in the Keys, while everyone was like, okay, we're gonna go back to the hotel at like 8 o'clock, catch our Z's, get ready for the next day, maybe hit a nice brunch, and then like hit the road or hit the flight. I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay out until like 4:30, meet the locals, go back to some DJ's house, show him my mix, he's gonna show me his, and like, whatever, carry on, and then walk back home 2 miles, and then, that's make a track when I got back to the fucking house.
Yeah.
And finally go to sleep when the sun goes up.
Yeah,
like,
it's really, it never
I don't
ends.
condone that for everyone all the time, but sometimes that's what it takes,
Yeah, I always say that, like, it's once you start dreading the passionate work that you need to take a step back, take a break.
Yeah.
Because there will be points where I'm like, oh, I do not want to take photos tonight, right? But then when I get there, I'm like joyful and I love taking photos. So you're always going to have that day. No one's perfect, but just give yourself some grace and say, like, just keep moving forward. Even if it's a centimeter, even if it's an inch, even if you get knocked down, the best thing you can keep doing is what you love and what you're good at. And it doesn't matter what the risks are. If you do those 2 things consistently, authentically, and all the time, I promise you will live a happy, fulfilling life. Like,
good. That's good advice. That's great advice.
Amen.
Chef's kiss. It's chef's kiss of advice.
Chef's kiss.
So, like, what's kind of your... Now that everything's kind of coming to like fruition, where are you going from here? What's the plans for the next year, next couple months? Like, what's your goal?
So this year I had a word, and my word was establishment. So this was the year of establishment, where I make myself known. I do uncomfortable things to talk to people, to get myself out there. I work hard to understand, the technicalities of it all, and I really lock down on establishing a role, a style, a brand, right? Whatever you want to call it. Next year, I really want next year to be the year of travel, where I start exploring and doing essentially the same kind of stuff, but in different communities.
Okay.
So I want to do like a mini tour, or I just want to because I have connections now in Miami and Pensacola and Colorado and South Africa. Like, I made all of these really cool connections, and I just want to kind of like nurture and honor them the best way that I can.
That's good. I like the making the connection. I think the establishment part is like spot on.
Yeah.
It's spot freaking on. Like, I think everybody needs to take that time to establish and get everything. Like, you gotta, walk before you can run. Like,
right.
So many people don't build up like that establishment, and then they just run into like, I don't know what to do from here. Like, I don't know who to contact. I don't know, like, making connections and talking to people and having friends in the industry is like a necessity.
And it's hard when you don't know sometimes like how to define yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard when someone's like, well, who are you? What do you do? Like, that's not always the easiest question to answer. But what I've learned is that in this industry, and again, if you're doing something you love and you're good at ruthlessly, you will find that other people will actually tell you, they'll say, oh my God, you did the best bass set I've ever seen. And they'll tell you why. Yeah. And then you'll start bullshitting and you're like, I actually do know a lot about bass music and the EDM world. Yeah. And then you'll be like, okay, so you know what? That person kind of identified what I'm good at and what I love. without me having to say anything. So it's like this network of feedback, of positive feedback. Like if you can take the people that cling on to you, that are attracted to your energy, that may also make you feel joyful and excited about what you're doing, it actually doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going. What matters is the effects that you have on each other to grow in what you're trying to do. And you'll find yourself as you go along, because other people will compliment you in those ways, and you'll be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm a fucking great portrait photographer.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm a great wedding photographer.
Right.
And so like I always lean on other people's compliments and praise when I'm having kind of like an identity crisis.
Like a validation in a sense without being validation, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like you're running around like touting saying like I'm the best DJ or I'm the best photographer, right?
Right, no.
Like that's not only what I am, but there's something so much more humble about when you're approached and complimented for what you're doing that helps you understand the impact you're making. You're making your art impact other people so much that they walk up to you and say, I loved what you did and you did it really well. Yeah. So like, again, there's like nothing better than that kind of like sense of, okay, well, I may have had a bad day and an identity crisis, but this is all I need right now.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I hope this all like resonates. It's making sense, right?
No, I think there's a lot of people who are gonna watch this and like it resonates a lot with them.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, they like when we first started. A lot of time we're like, I really wonder what they think. I like, and then like you said, like the whole theme of this is like getting somebody who likes your work and being like, keep on going, and you're like, okay, I will.
It takes so long to get that first keep going, and it's so weird because like the dance community is so supportive, and the music community in general is usually pretty supportive, but the industry is not.
Yeah.
And the fact is, everyone's trying to do the same thing, and like we've talked about this in other podcasts, but like at the end of the day, it is just a community, and like the community needs to be there for each other. And one thing that I've really like taken a liking to in previous discussions, but also I see it more and more in like St. Pete, and it's starting to affect Tampa too, is DJs are supposed to be community leaders.
Yes.
That's what DJs are first and foremost. They are community leaders. They set song trends. They set community trends. They bring people together in times of crisis, around the holidays, in the club, fucking whatever, you know what I mean? And like, there's a lot of DJs in St. Pete that embody that. They are, not only are they MCs or DJs, not only do they bring the music, but they also bring a community, and they create community, and they have events that aren't just cash grabs. They're not just like, oh, get a VIP table. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can get one of those. That's fine. That's money. That's business. But like, fucking Quinn just had like a whole Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, like all these people just came, brought potluck, brought food, brought beer, whatever. They had a little event after the estate afterwards, and like he's not the only one doing that kind of stuff. But like, it's amazing that there are people out there doing that, and that's the kind of support that I like to see in the community, and those are the kind of people that I like to surround myself with.
Yeah, just hang on to the support. They're the enemies and the haters and the naysayers and the doubters and the envious people, like they're needed, right? Because you have to have those. Good has to exist so that evil can exist, and evil has to exist so good has to exist, right? So the haters have to exist so that you understand the opposite of it, which is the polarization that you're doing a good job. And they always tell you, like, if you have haters, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you can essentially take all of that criticism and jealousy and negative envy and whatever people say or do or spread drama or whatever, you can take that as a compliment as well, because you can just say, I must be doing something right, that it hurts this person so much to waste their time to analyze and then tell me what they think is wrong with me. It's just about mindset, because if you let yourself take in the criticisms all the time, you're not going to survive in this industry. And especially being like a female, like when I was in the army, right? It was in the military, and I still think it's this way. The ratio of women to men is 1 woman for every 30 dudes. And that's a lot. That's a lot of masculine energy, okay? That's a lot of alpha bros and beta bros, and that's too much dick, okay? Even for the straight people, for the straight girls. But what you do in those kind of settings, too, and especially like a militant setting, is you're all going to the same place at the same time. You're showing up at the same time in groups to work out, right, early in the morning. Yeah. And there's like, even with that, not knowing anyone and maybe even feeling uncomfortable being surrounded by people, you're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You're all together in a group. You all have to be there at 6:30 in the morning and work out, right? So that kind of builds camaraderie alone. So if you approach like life like that, and you're looking at building communities, especially in music industries, right? Like, you need all types of people in the community. You need the person who's like whacked out of their mind in the corner. And honestly, I've talked about this before. I would rather have people who are over medicated at my parties, because at least I know that they're safe there, right? And they're not going to somewhere steezy.
That's like
or
when
on
we were
the
kids
streets,
and we
or
would
like,
get drunk and our
then
parents
you get to
right.
enjoy the fuck out of your
you know,
set.
and then
You're
if
like, that
anything,
guy's fucking enjoying my set.
and then if anything serious happens, you can always call who you need to.
Yep.
But
I always like to keep a padded room at my events, you know, just like when
but you need everyone in your life while you're going along to criticize you in different ways, so that you understand more definitively what works for you, what doesn't, who you connect with and who you don't want to. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter so long as like it needs to be about you. Like, you need to give a shit about yourself. And I think it took a long time for me, like you're even saying, community leaders, right? DJs are community leaders. I was told in the Army that I was a shitty leader. And I know that's not true. I know that's not true. But what I did with that after I got out of the Army and like what I'm doing now, like you saying that, it really brings light to the fact that yes, I can say now that I am 1,000% a community leader with Sonder. But that's it's something that you just have to take everything with a grain of salt and be objective, and then at the end of the day, just recognize that it's all for you. It's meant to happen for you. It's meant to happen. Everything. The time is now, everyone.
Yeah.
I agree.
Fuck yeah.
The time is now.
The time
Amen.
is now.
There's no time like the present. That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're gonna 2025 is gonna be big for a lot of people.
Big things
It's
for
gonna
real.
be big for us. It's gonna be big for you.
Big things coming for real.
Big things.
Big thing. Yeah, that's what everyone says on their Twitter bios. Big things coming.
Yes.
Big things coming.
Yes.
We have perpetually have big things coming.
Yeah,
as
but we
DJs.
really do have big things coming.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, do you have any last remarks to make or any last questions, Christian?
No, this was really fun. I had no idea what we were going to talk about.
You're so
But,
positive.
like,
I loved it. I love how like you had so much like good advice for everybody.
Yeah. I think people fight for a long time to figure out who they are, what they want to be, and then what they're good at. And then they doubt themselves. There's that imposter syndrome of like, oh, I can't DJ, or I can't learn a musical instrument, or I can't do this. And that's all just in your head. It's all just in your head. Because I am 39 years old, and I never thought in my life ever that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. But I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Thank you for
I
coming
really
on.
appreciate
You're very
it.
welcome, of course. It's been a great interview. Sookie, DJ Sook G, Sonder Blue.
Sonder Blue House.
We got December
Sookie takes
22nd
photos.
with All Whack, Jer Bear. Who else do we got on
Heather
there?
Effie.
Heather Effie.
And Kenny Stage.
KST. And then who is that? One more person? Or is that it? I think that's it, right? All Whack, Heather, Jared, KST. There was a fifth
I always
one.
forget one.
There's a fifth one. There's a fifth one. Who do we got on there?
Heather, Jared.
Heather, Jared, All Whack, KST.
Oh, it's Tony Puccio.
And Tony Puccio.
Oh my God. So real quick.
Tony.
Real quick.
We got to have him on the podcast.
I know.
Man. He's got,
you need to. I just talked to him today, And because he asked me to make like a little logo for him because he is usually a house DJ and he works at like various places all the time, nonstop. It's his full-time job is DJing.
Right. Wow.
But he never gets to play like bass music.
Right.
So he was like asking me today, like, what do I want? You know, what should I do? Is this like? So I gave him a bass name. So we'll see. It's. I mean,
is it classified? Classified?
Should I let you know now? It's. I don't feel like I should say it.
All right.
But like our beloved Tony Puccio, who is a very, very good, talented house DJ, has residencies in many places around Tampa and Tampa Bay. He's going bass. He's going the bass.
Hell yeah, man. Well, All Wax gonna fucking tear the floor open. KST and Tony, man. I'm excited for that.
And Heather
I'm excited for Heather.
she's-
I'm not familiar with Heather. I don't think we might have met once. But
yeah, she's a great breaks DJ.
yeah, I'm very excited to see her. And Jared, man, he's gonna throw down a set. He threw down the closing set at our last
Yeah, I'm
show.
so glad that he won that contest, that you guys got to interview him, because he is really a top-notch person.
And we got plenty more artists that we got in your back pocket, my back pocket. I'm sure.
And us by ourselves. We could just have a show by ourselves.
Amen. Well, this has been REM Music, the final mix at Steep Station. Juice, I'm Juice, that's Oracle, Sookie. Peace, y'all.
Peace.